I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're still waiting for Tom. Hopefully he's coming, but for now we'll move. John's going to sit in for Dick LaRoche. We don't have another alternate for thing, but
in.
this is a board. Who is?
He's walking in right now.
Who is?
Doug.
Oh, Doug's coming. So I'll just let him handle it. Come on in.
We started yet?
Yeah, but I was going to run it, but I'll let you handle it. Okay?
You want me to?
Well, I don't care. I mean, I think it would be more polite, more.
I'll be more polite.
No, I think it'd be the right thing for you to do. You run it.
Sure, I can? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Doug.
All right, so let's see. We need to sit any
Seated one
alternates?
alternate.
Okay,
I just said him. Yeah.
great.
Tom's walking in now.
He is.
Okay.
All
Do
right,
we want to
we'll wait for
wait?
Tom then.
Let's
We'll
speak.
talk
Let's
after the meeting
speak.
about the CIP.
Okay.
Okay. So that is what happens. The last guy in has to run the meeting. Is
Well,
that the,
Well,
is that
we
the
thought
rule?
we'd do that.
I didn't know if I should. Where I'm the selectman.
No. Right. No, it's
I was going to do it, but
I'm not going to write down the third person to run this meeting.
No, you don't think so.
I expect a little more prompt time next time.
That's
Okay.
pretty prompt. It's only, 7:01, and I was farming. Hey, all over me, and smell.
Let's go.
That's all I can do to get here. But I wanted to be here.
All right, run it. We've set John, and we don't have another
Is
alternate.
that John for Richard?
Yep.
Okay. Do we have any public comment out there other than what's on the agenda tonight? Not hearing any. We have a public hearing. We got a boundary line adjustment plan application submitted by Robert and Rita Anderson for property tax map 23, lot 22, 172 Village Valley Drive, tax map 23, lot 20, Village Valley Drive, and property owned by Kurt and Mary Lenzen, tax map 23, lot 19, 224 Village Valley Drive. The applicants are requesting an approval of a boundary line adjustment plan application to equally split a vacant lot between their properties. The owners currently own the lot together. Okay.
Okay.
We got a plan or anybody presenting it?
So there's a small copy on the back of the packages and
So Doug and you guys don't know Charlie, okay? This is Bob
Yep.
and his wife's existing lot. This is the Lenzing's 12-acre lot.
Yep.
They also own this lot over here and this lot over here.
Is this on your subdivision
Yes.
you did years ago?
Yes, on the hot top. So they're just taking this 5-acre lot that we
Yep.
sold to somebody else, and now they're just dividing it equally. Equally amount of land to each,
Sure.
but they didn't have to quite do that, equally amount to each.
Sure. Yep.
But I think the reason, Bob, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong here, why they went across this lot line. Is that because of the outcrop of trees there or something?
I had discussed that with Mr. Linson, and I don't know if you realize it, but his wife is dying of cancer.
Yeah.
And I have a letter of proxy to represent his interests and made him aware of that. And he said, I don't care. He said, you're my representative. That small injunction into that lot, he said, I've got 30 acres of land. I really don't care. It's not a big issue.
There's no houses or
Well,
anything
was
over there.
No houses.
No way plans give
One
you
house
an
way back here,
explanation why it-
Bob's house
Yeah,
is
I
back
know,
here.
no way plans
Okay.
give you an explanation.
So
why
is
they
this the
carried
line
it
that
over
they're
there.
putting in, or this here?
The dark line's the new one.
That's the new line. This line,
Goes away.
this line, and this line goes away.
Okay, so it is because they wanted all that wooded area.
Okay.
Yeah.
What had happened?
That's why.
So should we,
You want to explain it?
should we accept the application first? Does that make sense?
Yeah, Victor, is everything
I
in order?
Yes,
Sorry.
the application is administrative correct, excuse me. The notice has been run, the abutters have been notified, and the fees have been paid.
So I'll make a motion that we accept the application at hand.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Now go ahead.
No, Bob, go ahead and, that we approved the application, we didn't approve
Okay.
the boundary line yet. You were
Just
about ready to show
procedures.
us something.
Okay.
Yep.
Whatever word you want to use, okay? When, it's so much easier for me to, oh, here's Village Valley Drive, okay? This point here,
Yeah.
all right? This point here, I know you're gonna laugh because I couldn't believe, they had to do it twice, they had to come back. About a year and a half ago, we've owned this property for 5 years, and the lady that owned it before would not give us enough time to divide the lot at the time. She wanted the money right away, and so that's why it's taken 5 years for us to come to this point, okay? So what had happened is that right here is a stake, okay? It was a gray stake, the famous gray stake. Kurt and I had put that in. It's 100 feet from here to here, and then it was about 100 feet from here to here. You know what? My father was a general contractor. He showed me how to use the transit. Kurt is a very smart man. He says, "Bob, you want to come up?" And he says, "We'll get the tape and measure it off, right?" It's kind of my fault because I left that stake there thinking that they would never consider that to be a boundary. So what had happened was, this is not the original. This is this one that I made them redo again at their expense, not mine. They went from here. There's some woods here, and our agreement was that Kurt wanted, actually, the property that's this line here. He wanted this be added to his backyard. I wanted the woods. And originally, my property line here, when I first bought it from Mr. Dewey, all right, right at this point here, I needed to. We have a motorhome. We wanted to be able to sweep that out, and it was hitting this boundary line here. So I talked to Kurt. He actually came to me and says, "Okay, what do you want to do? What do you want?" I said, "What do you want?" He says, "I don't want this 137 feet, because it was right across the street from Lisa and Anthony Gianelli. It's just for his ease to know, because he owns this lot across the street." So what had happened is that they sent some kids down. And the kid came up to me one day and he goes, "What? So what do you think?" So, "Man, this is great. You know, it's right along all these trees are in here. This is like a meadow next to my house to give me more land just for privacy." So we were standing right at that spot. I'm sorry, right here. So he thought, "That's great." He says, "Go back and tell
Kurt.
Ted Knight, who drew it all up. That's what we want." The message never got to him. So they sent another crew up. You know, this has been going on for months and months. We gave them $1,200 in March to get on board as fast as we could. They didn't finish till August. Okay? There's always an excuse. So
Was it Wright or Ted Knight?
Ted's name.
Ted Knight.
But then you went to Wright.
No,
Okay.
it's,
Donald is Ted Knight. It's his nickname.
yeah.
All right. So what had happened is that this is the infamous gray stake. It was never meant to be a boundary. So what they did is the second group of kids came up. They called me up one day and they said, "Well, the other crew is out, the original crew." I said, "I really want the original crew." "Well, if you want this done, we're going to come up." So they came up. They made that my boundary line. I went out there and I see their. This
It
thing.
really doesn't matter, Bob. That don't matter.
Oh, you wanted me to present?
We were just wondering why you maybe went across there, but you wanted these trees here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What
these spaces equal this. right, is what,
They do.
what he's saying, that's all.
I thought you wanted me to explain why
No.
this
Nope.
little jut went in here. No?
No, just,
Oh,
we were just
I
curious
misunderstood.
why it went over the line
Because that's
there,
the
and I was
original-
saying that I think it went over
Yeah.
the line because of the woods.
Because he wanted to have the trees
Yeah.
on.
Because what they did is they did a diagram across there
Yeah.
and brought my line over here and interfered with what he wanted.
My
That line
only
didn't come
question
over to
seeing
this boundary line, it was way over here somewhere.
Now,
And this makes sense, because now across the street, Kurt has the same
correct.
frontage here as he does.
That's correct.
And so is there a house on this property?
Yes, the house way back here.
Way over here.
Yeah,
So there's
there's
no
the house here.
Way up on the hill.
on
No.
setbacks,
No
or
way.
anything that's happening?
As he knows, this was his land, is that once we're doing what we're doing, no other properties can be built. The reason that my wife and I and Kurt and I, the lady that owned it before, she originally wanted to put a way up here, but then they had to put in another, service. And so they decided, came up one day and he was down in here taking down trees. So I went down to him and I said, "What are you doing?" "So I'm taking down some trees. Me and the boys are going to put a hut down here." And I said, "Well, you better go to the association, Chris, because you can't build without telling anybody." "Well, if you don't say anything, okay." I says, "Listen," I said, "I want to buy that piece of property." So I went to see Kurt and Mary, and they said, "Okay, we want," because Mary wanted to do it all along, but Kurt didn't. I said, "Take a look." I see where his tree is, where his truck is parked. That's where he's going to put his house. "Mary, we're going to buy that land," because no, he didn't want, somebody right off his master bedroom.
Sure.
So this is that little. I called him up the other day, knowing that you would probably asking that question. He said, "Well, you're my." I signed a proxy letter. He said, "I don't care. Look at all the land I got." He says, "I don't
so
care."
my only question with this is the application is to subdivide this lot and put a lot line adjustment on this lot, not into this one. So I'm not sure if that runs into a conflict with the application the way it's written.
But you've had this all along, right?
Well,
Well, I think that should be covered with him having the apartment.
It's all three
lots are mentioned.
Yeah.
right, all three are?
Three.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, I get
Mr.
it.
Lindsay,
Yeah.
It's-
Mr. Lindsay
it
can't
seems-
be here because he's
We
spending
just-
24 hours a day with his
I
wife. so
completely understand
he
that.
would be here telling you that I don't care
I
about this. He
also
told me
hate
to
to
tell
think
you.
that we did something while he was away.
No, we
I
understand.
have his phone number if you want to call.
It's, I mean, it's just, that's one thing that,
We're just making sure that it's done properly and
Done right.
everything looks good.
I don't want to see it be done and then all of a sudden something gets tied up in court and now everybody
No.
gets in trouble, so.
It's,
That's
The
a good
reason
question.
that I am doing this, my wife and I are doing this, is because Mary is dying, okay? And so I said, I didn't want to get into a situation that he's a mess, all right? Poor guy, he's losing his wife and he knows he's losing her. If he decides to bail out, and this property here is separate of all this property and just move out of the neighborhood, which we hope he doesn't, then I didn't want him to have to deal with a buyer who comes and says, "Who the hell is this Anderson?"
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we tried to do all that we could
Yes.
to make sure that he was happy with what he got. 'Cause he told me, "This is what I want right here."
Yep.
I don't care about. I said, "Well, wouldn't it be better if I get what I wanted and then you got?" There was a 300-foot hole, if you want to call it, in that line, and we were trying to keep people out from coming into our property. I made it so that now it comes over to my lot next door that I just bought, and it goes up about whatever that is, that number. Okay, and then Kurt would get all of this, and that made him very happy. I got what I wanted, he got what he wanted. I knew that this might be a source of contention, so I called him on the phone. He says, "Look, you're my proxy. They have an issue. Have him call me right from the board meeting."
Okay.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He said, "I got so much land there. I don't care." His exact words were, "All I care about is Mary. I don't care if you take it over to my land."
are the pin set, does it say
Yep.
on that plan? Will it
Yeah, they all have their icon, oh, not icon, but their symbol
Yep.
from their company, and they have flags, and they have sticks. But they're in the ground. All that you see, they're all in the ground.
Does it say that in this stuff, right? Definitely the new pins, Bob, are set.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they are.
Yep,
See, I read those. I didn't see
they're
it.
all set. They have their logo on it. So it isn't
Well,
like,
we need to see that
Piece
it's
of rebar.
mentioned on this drawing that
I'm
the
s-
pins are in
I'm
the
sorry?
ground. I
So
said-
when they bring the Mylar, like they gotta bring us a Mylar. If we approve this, they bring us a Mylar so
Uh-huh.
we can sign it.
yeah.
We're gonna we're gonna request that they just certify that the pins are set.
Sure.
And that's a normal thing.
When I paid them their last check, they told me that because of that mistake that they made, all right, they agreed that once I wrote them that check, about a month ago, that there'd been no further expenses incurred.
Any other discussion?
I think it's pretty.
No, it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
Very simple.
So I'll entertain a motion with that one, condition.
So made.
I'll second.
You got that all set, boss? You
I
go
got
with
it.
that?
I got it.
What is your name again?
Robert Anderson?
But you understand what he said, that when you go back and tell these people, you make sure they get us the Mylar, just make sure that
I
they
already
know,
discussed it with,
So,
that, make sure they know.
you know he's my neighbor, right? So,
Yeah, I saw his name down
No,
here, so.
May I? What he's referring to, everything is all set, we just need them to make a note on this drawing referring to that the pins have been set in the ground.
oh, okay.
so
it.
these
Sure.
pins
That's all the
here,
change we'll need, he'll
But they've
obviously
been
have to
set.
do
It says-
4 copies of this and a Mylar.
As far as I know,
Am I looking at this right?
I walked the properties
it
myself.
says
They're
RBS.
all
And
pinned.
then if
Yep,
you look
no,
at
that's good.
the,
They just gotta be marked on the drawing.
if you look up here,
Oh, so they're not
the
marked.
legend,
Rebar
They're
set.
marked on the
Does that-
drawing,
does that
but we need a
mean-
note
what do you
saying
mean?
That
pins
means
have
it
been
is
set
set,
in
yeah.
the ground.
okay.
Oh,
But
okay, so tell
is
them,
there another obvious?
now does that have to be,
I'm-
does that have to be notarized?
Yeah.
No.
So
Yes,
I,
yes.
we've just been discussing it. They've got RBS, so rebar's set on each of
Rebar's
these,
on.
so it's already been
Oh,
done.
rebar-
So
Looks
they
like
don't
it's
need to
already
do
done.
that.
So,
I'm confused now. Who?
Well,
What do I
we're
do
telling
now?
you on the pin set, the pins have already been set.
Yes, they have.
Okay, and they did label
Charlie's
it.
motion fails for lack of second. Charlie, you want to make a new
No,
motion?
I seconded.
Oh, gee.
So we're all
So
set.
do I still need to do that?
So we don't need to
No,
motion.
you're all
So,
set.
All set.
do you want to, we gotta change it. We want to condition, move the condition. It's okay with you, Charlie?
Yes,
that
move the condition, seems
The
we
second.
already have them set, we've noticed that it's there, we are all set.
Are you all set for that second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now, we gotta vote on it now. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
No, very good.
All right, you're all set.
Thank you.
It seemed a little complicated, but it really wasn't.
I'm sorry?
It seemed a little complicated, but it
No,
really wasn't.
I wasn't intimidated by it. I knew that that was gonna come up in discussion, so I talked to Mr. Lenzen about it. And you know, Mr. Lenzen is like kinda off in zombie land, as you would be if your wife was dying. She's very, very sick. And I know that, okay? Takes a lot for a man to cry in front of another man, but he did it. And I told him, he's actually refused all help. We tried to help him out, and all he cares about, his exact words were, I don't give a shit about the land. I don't care about anything. So you just do what, you're my proxy, you do whatever I tell you.
I saw Kurt the other day, he's
No,
all
we're
set with
good.
this.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay, just let me know if you need anything.
Make
All right?
it clear. We'll do. You can go.
No, I voted. This was land I sold years ago. It's not that new to me.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, have a nice night.
You too.
You get my age, you're gonna have a hard time marketing.
It's okay.
Conceptual review, we have on Navigate Board Business, escrow release, Rossman boundary line adjustment plan. How much, Rich?
We're looking to return 150 plus interest for professional planning services, which was not used. Notice of decision was on August 1st. 30 days are up.
What was this for?
It was a professional planning fee that we hold in case we need to
Was there a plan?
talk. This was for a boundary line adjustment for Rossman. It
Okay.
was approved by you guys on August 1st.
Do you know what road they were on? Like,
Yes,
Sorry.
151 Concord Lane, tax map
Okay.
80-41. Concord Lane, tax map 80-40.
Does the dash mean lot?
Excuse me?
Does the dash mean lot?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we release the escrow for Roseman boundary line adjustment plan.
Second?
any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of previous minutes, August 15th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the August 15th minutes as written.
I thought that meeting was much longer than this.
There was a lot of discussion that didn't have to go in.
I'll second it for discussion, if any. Good with it?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Correspondence, Vic? None.
Should've come to that
Says Public
Should have
comment.
come to that one.
James? Come on, James, say something.
Read my blog. I say it all there.
Do you? I don't know how to find your blog, James. You gotta put it in front of me in order to
Well,
read it.
you're lucky, your name's not in it.
You haven't made it yet.
We're not that popular.
Well, we know when our next meeting will be, September 19th. You guys wanna discuss anything else? Vic, you got something?
I'd just like to make a note, I talked to Mr. Garrity about working on rewriting the ADU, and he hasn't got to it, he said he'd have something for us by next week,
Great.
for the next meeting.
All right.
You okay with that?
Who am I? Okay with anything, huh?
Good.
Listen, it is what it is, right?
Sorry. I think it's the right thing to do and just get it
Well,
in English.
Yes.
yeah.
So then
Some
it's
people
Yeah, I think we all
can't
agree
read
to that.
English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all gonna, it's just gonna be in English. So,
Right, you guys read the
Seems-
minutes?
yes,
You know how I voted.
okay. So, what is it that, we've got time? Why don't we, is there anything that we need to, figure out what we wanna do for the near future here? I mean, here's the time to start discussing,
Bunkhouses?
What do you want?
Are we
It's
all set?
confuse ADUs with bunkhouses?
Yeah.
are we all set with what we're going to do for the warrant article or anything like that?
We said we were gonna start working on warrant articles. You don't have the list with you, Vic, right? We asked something about a list. I know that. I don't know exactly how it went. If we were gonna do the list, or you were gonna compile the list, or...
Yeah, well, we were starting with the ADU, so, I don't know.
Which he's already on to that, which is good, so.
I've got a list if you want to, since you talked about what you want to address. I take it from the minutes.
You have it with you?
I don't have it with me, no, because it wasn't on the agenda.
If you had it with
If you
you.
want it, I can send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. You probably have the same list.
So, does anybody remember one of the other topics? We might as well talk about a topic if we can figure out what it is.
So the potential rezoning of, I don't know, is it the west end of
109.
109? Am I saying that
Yeah,
right?
the west 109 and 16 intersection there.
Like between
Oh,
the
the-
gas station and
That
Brookfield?
little section of
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, which maybe would be what, like Visit Village,
Village, commercial village.
what do we call the
Village
village?
residential.
Yeah, Village Residential.
What is it now?
I think some of
R2?
it's,
No, R3.
some of it might be agriculture, right?
No, I don't think it was ag. It was all.
I think it's in residential.
I think it's residential, so they couldn't do anything.
But
But-
you've got all kinds
To the
of,
Brookfield line you're talking
There's,
about.
there's currently
The
everybody
Brookfield
doing
right
home
there at the-
occupation
at the
there,
lights.
so.
right.
There is a small section that is business and commercial, very small,
Yeah,
close to Brookfield. I'm looking at it wrong, I'm sorry, guys.
I was gonna say, it's all in the white.
Yeah, that's where the.
That's
the,
all R3,
post
right?
office is. This is down there, it's on the right side. Mobile station's here.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's this section right here.
right.
It's all white, which is
I,
agriculture.
looking at the map from here,
It's all 5 acre zoning.
it makes more sense to me to make it commercial, which is the pink, right?
Yes. Business
Um,
and commercial.
Business commercial, yeah.
So the only reason I'd be careful about that is because you have existing homes there. right? And I don't know what that does. I need Mike Garapi to help with that, but I don't know what that does. If you're if you have a house and then all of a sudden it becomes commercial property,
It's either
does that
gotta-
change? I think that changes the tax rate on the property that you're sitting on. And I don't know
So-
how fair that is to somebody.
Correct.
We could either do that or change it to the
It
orange.
can be either way.
Right.
It could be, some people can look at it like it's a benefit, some people can look at it.
Absolutely, right,
Well,
yes.
And we got to look
Yes.
at the majority of it, which
If,
realistically, it's majority that whole strip is people wanting business.
Businesses, there is businesses there.
So-
doesn't it?
so why don't we do this? Vic, there's only a few lots there. Want to grab the tax cards for it?
Sure.
He'll bring in the tax cards
Yeah.
next meeting. If we have
Yeah.
time, we'll look at tax cards, we'll look
Yeah.
at it, and take your time, and one of these days, maybe before our next meeting too, get a chance to ride by there, see what you think.
Yeah.
But, there's gonna be a lot of discussion on it, because the public
Sure.
hearings for that
Yeah.
So have we ever done
situation is
something like
gonna
this
be,
where we would call the owners of that property in if they were interested? Like,
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
see what their thoughts are on it?
right.
I mean,
Maybe we can have a non-public. That's a special
Preliminary
meeting.
discussion.
Maybe we can have a preliminary type discussion on
Sure.
it.
And
before-
invite them.
Yeah, invite them.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's a great idea.
I think there's about 7 houses involved.
Yeah,
Okay.
Or 7 lots.
but most of them houses have kind
Half.
of businesses involved in the housing.
Yeah.
I'd say more
Or out
than
behind.
less, correct.
Correct.
I would agree with
So
that.
I think,
at least acreage wise.
And the other ones may be rental.
so
Yes.
is there such thing as a commercial residential?
Village residential.
Village residential is
Okay.
what,
So that would be the other option where it's abutting either commercial or village residential. So if you wanted to get away
Which
from
one is
spot
is
zoning,
yellow or orange?
the orange.
The orange.
So if you wanted to get away from spot zoning,
It
which
should
should be
be
the
one or the
dots,
other,
it should
right.
be one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I know spot zoning was something that was brought up as not something you want because it kills business except for the fact of like the A and B mini mart. It's nice to have certain businesses in certain areas, but at the same time you don't want to have your map looking like little dots and all your business spread out everywhere. And
I get it.
So we have that situation there, which is here. We also have this situation here, which is a couple of lots here that possibly could.
Where's that?
That's
Steakhouse.
Pond Steakhouse right here,
yeah,
right on this lot. Woodman's, Woodman's other business.
is that Kasperzak on the corner there?
No,
Kasperzak
this is down.
He's down here.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, which that's
Woodman's Forge.
Yeah.
which one? Okay.
Woodman's Forge.
So there's a couple
Steakhouse.
lots up there that would probably be interested, especially where.
Yeah. There is a residence on this one.
Yeah,
Well, we just had
These last two might be residential.
Mr. Pitts in here for one of those, right? Because
Yeah,
half the property was in, half wasn't.
Yeah, he's up a little further here. I think maybe this piece.
I thought part of it touched commercial.
It might be this one, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's that one right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
so that purple, pink spot, that's what's considered commercial.
Correct.
It's village
No,
commercial. I think.
no.
Oh,
That's commercial.
Okay.
Village
Business, commercial.
Okay.
Village residential is
Oh, it's
the
the
orange.
orange stuff, okay. All right.
The
Yeah, 'cause
yellow
that's not a
is
village
the.
up there. That's
No, right.
that's
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. What's the yellow? Is that
Village
R1?
residential allows commercial.
Yes.
The yellow is
R1?
residential 1.
Excuse me.
Let's see.
Thank you. What's that spot? What's that? Is that where the A and B used to be right there? That big purple pink spot there.
No,
It's,
the next one down is
Woodman's.
that one's
Okay, so that's
AMB.
Woodman. That's
Yep,
the,
that's
the
Woodman's up there.
Cindy's and all that.
Dundee, yeah.
Okay.
And now the hard
Yes.
part of those is where they're spot. They just put a circle with a 1,000-foot radius on them. It's not the whole lot that's considered
Not
commercial.
necessarily, right, yeah.
So that's something that I think should be considered. And if someone's in a commercial lot, if they're in that zone, the whole lot should be considered commercial, not just part of it.
And I'll have to say I agree with you on that one. Because it seems foolish to have a half a lot, somebody's
Yeah.
whole
Right.
lot be one half and the other can't do the same thing that's on it.
I mean, most of the lots we have are R1, R3, agricultural are all split up and they are the whole lot. Most of them, not all of them. The R2 lots are broken up into the footage. Those
But
are
I
the
also
ones.
think that if the lot is zoned partial, commercial and residential, whatever the bigger part is, that's what the lot's gonna be, the whole lot.
No, I think it's really ambiguous. You know, you
It
think the
is.
AU is ambiguous, that's really ambiguous in our zoning. So we could change it that they could have either or. If they're
Right.
in it,
They should be to choose.
they should be able to.
I mean, you're not gonna. There's very little commercial on that whole map, and if you're gonna put a business in it, and let's just say you just got the very corner of your business, but it's still in that 1,000-foot radius of one of those circles, and the rest of the lot's out of it, but you have enough room to do your business. It doesn't make sense to not put it there because you want business with other business.
So the only thing I would say is, let's look very closely before we just blanketly do something like that.
Oh.
If there's a 150 acre parcel that has a tiny corner in one of those circles,
I don't think you're gonna find one over there looking at the map from here. But
Mm.
you're not gonna find road frontage on that 150 acre.
so let's just look at it carefully, that's
Yeah.
all.
No, that's
Right.
good thing.
I think it'd be worth sending a letter out to the owners and getting them in to get their input.
I think one spot at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, agree. Let's do a few things and do those right.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
get people to hopefully
But
vote on them.
I think that's
The
the-
voters are gonna decide whether
That's what
they're
I
right or
mean.
not.
But
Absolutely,
I think that
right?
this is what the
Right,
job,
right.
our job is
Just
to
to
try
review
to
and-
make it much more
Simplified.
acceptable and acceptable.
Clearer,
Yes,
right?
clearer, definitely clearer.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have guessed any of that, you know. And you're saying, I'm not quite sure why a half a lot would be commercial and the same person that's on that
Well, it's just like
half is
the
not, but.
Palmer's intersection where it's got a half a circle on it. That doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, that side of the road is a little more business commercial, so the other side is all residential. Well, no. It's a
Well,
little-
the other
little smaller
the
than
other
this
side is
marketplace.
abutting the historic district, which is probably why it's
Yeah.
messed up like that.
Sure.
But I think that the all the historic buildings and everything should be on an overlay of the map too, in just like this, because they do fall into a different category. If someone goes to buy a piece of property and they don't realize it's in a historic district, they're gonna be pissed when they find out they got more restrictions than the house next door that's not.
Yeah. But I would think that would definitely come up on your deed anyway, right? Being, it must say historic district or something like that. So you would know.
I don't think it does on a deed.
Don't know.
I know.
don't think so.
I don't know.
What is Route 16? Is that the pink there? Is that all of that goes up to like wontons?
No. So wontons, I don't think's on there.
The one from
So wontons is not commercial?
Nope.
It's not in a commercial zone, no.
No, wontons is actually run as a home occupation too. So, but no, this is the Palmer's over here. Goes all the way through all. Half of Hilltop Drive is in the commercial district, and that's all residential. Then you got that one house that's got like no property between the railroad tracks. That's commercial. And the farmer's market, the Kanoko, and that's it. Then down here you've got the diner's property is all commercial. The lot next to them where the Getty Station or Crowell's used to be, that's actually considered our
Agricultural, why is
No,
agricultural?
is it ag? Okay, so ag. Well, then it comes down here and it splits up the area we're talking
I'd
about.
like to say white as it's 5 acre zoning, not agricultural. It's
Right.
5 acre zoning.
We come down here to Wentworth Road, which we were just talking about. There's 1, 2, 4 of the lots that are on Wentworth Road right now currently are partially in a commercial zone. So they have an arguable point to use it for commercial use anyways. The other side's broken up in a lot of little slots, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lots now. One of them being mostly marsh where they get the stand. That's probably better used for commercial anyways. You got the small engine repair, the boat storage, the farm stand in there. I mean, that's,
Oh, commercial, pretty much.
Yeah.
is.
so there's 4 out of the 7 on that one side are already currently being used for a commercial purpose.
But I like the idea that
Should be discussed,
they
yeah.
should be able to come in and give their thoughts so they understand what it is that we're trying to do, maybe.
Yep.
Very good.
We know that the corner lot that's owned by the Martells, we know they want to use it for commercial use.
Yeah.
They've tried multiple times in the past. I believe they own the first 2 lots, so then realistically, there's only
You got the
one,
bait
maybe
shop,
2
and then
lots
you got
on
the sand pit.
on the northern side of that currently are not in the commercial zoning already.
So, would you like to pick a date and Victor can send him a letter? The owners a letter?
So we had to do 2-week notice for that, or do we not have to? Where it's
Okay, really,
preliminary.
Should, but.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
I'd
the
wanna
first, maybe the first meeting in October to give
Yeah.
folks enough time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That'll give him time enough to take the time to figure it out. Good thoughts.
We'll add it on the list.
Maybe we could make it the second, I think we have.
What do we have?
Oh, it just came in, actually, and I believe it was Denley's conditional use permit for
For
the.
the thing up behind them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're just in the process, it just
Yeah,
accepted
and that
it
may be,
today, so
that may be a
that's
little
gonna be
bit, that'd be
scheduled.
something, so I'd probably schedule it for the next one.
Okay.
Now that's progress. Huh?
Well, depends on who you talk to.
I don't care. I just like to do something. I don't know anything else about what else to, you got any big
I'll
ideas?
entertain a motion.
No, I'd probably wait for the West.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Victor can put that together.
I'll make that motion. We adjourn.
I'll second his then.
Well, it's up for discussion.
Any further discussion? Not hearing any? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.